I'm Tom Harris. I'm Director of the University Center for Economic Development at the University of Nevada, Reno. And for this podcast, we have Dr. Eugenia Larmore. She's President of EKAY Economic Consultants. Ms. Larmore got her doctorate here at UNR, and part of her dissertation was developing a leading coincidence economic indicators for the Reno-Sparks SMSA. What we're going to be discussing is her July-August publication, which is available on her website, and talk about what's going on in the Reno-Sparks SMSA, which is Washoe County and Story County. So Eugenia, what things are still looking as promising as people have been talking about?
Yes, they are. The good news continues for the Reno MSA. All of the indicators are green. We have a couple of small red blurbs, the majority of which are seasonal. So if we look at our leading index, which includes a number of local, statewide, and national indicators, we have taxable sales, gaming revenue, and homes sold on the local side. We have some airport information to show the traffic coming through the area. And now we focus on statewide information such as initial claims for unemployment and national data, stock market, interest rates, and money supply. And everything is put together to give us a one number that we compare month to month. And what it's showing us is compared to last month, and we're talking, all of the indices here use June 2017 data. So in June 2017 compared to the previous month, our economy, our local economy as represented by this index grew by 36%. And as this is a leading index, this is something that we're expecting to continue in the local economy over the next 6 to 12 months. So again, a 0.36% increase. We're still growing steadily. We haven't had a decline in many months. And we've grown from last year, according to this index, by 4.3%. What's of interest is our coincidence index, which, while the leading index attempts to project where the economy, the local economy is going to go over the next 6 to 12 months, the coincidence index really represents the economy as it is right now. And our coincidence index combines two employment statistics. One is the local area unemployment statistics, and the other one is census of employment. And what it's showing is that our coincidence index increased by 25% between May and June of this year, and 3.2% from last year. And as this is employment, I wanted to, as we're speaking of employment in the area, I wanted to throw in some interesting information. For example, the wages in Washoe County in the last 5 years increased from about $20 to $22. Over the 5-year period. That's an 8.3% increase. These are median wages for the employees in Washoe County. 8.3% increase over 5 years. CPI, Consumer Price Index, or also known as inflation, is how much does it cost for you to purchase things, increased by 8.5% during the same period. So our wages in the county increased by slightly less than the Consumer Price Index. So while wages are growing, they're not quite keeping up with our inflation. What's interesting, however, we talked Washoe County has a median wage of $22 per hour. TRIC, Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, a lot of talk about TRIC with Tesla and Google and other big national companies moving to the area and locating in TRIC. Their wages increased by 18% and are now at almost $26. So a $4 difference between employment in Washoe County and employment in TRIC. So there's a lot of talk about how TRIC is bringing high wage jobs to the area. They actually are, and those jobs are growing. 18.4% change in their wages over that 5-year period. Again, over double what CPI was. So there is some good news on growth there. Also unemployment. As of June 2017, Washoe County unemployment is at 4%. National unemployment is 4.4%. So our unemployment is looking better even than the national level. At the state level, it's 4.8%, a little bit higher. But all three numbers, U.S., Nevada, and Washoe County, are all below what we consider to be natural unemployment, which is about 2.7%, but usually is looked at about 5%. So we are employing almost everybody who needs to be or who wants to be employed or is able to be employed in the area, which is good news In some ways, that means that to fill the multiple jobs that we're expecting to coming to the area, we're going to need to have people moving to the area. And that brings us to our construction index. We have a business activity index, and all it is just a local business activity index, and it's showing great growth, no drops there. So we'll skip through that. Just know that our local business activity index has been growing for 51 straight months and is continuing to grow. Great news again for the MSA. On the construction index, we grew by 2% from the previous month, from May to June, and we grew by over 50% from last year. Strong construction growth in the area. For this index, we track construction employment, which has been increasing significantly, commercial building permit valuation, which dropped slightly between May and June, and that's likely seasonal, and just smaller projects applied for building permits this month than previous month. Not a concern unless it becomes a month-to-month trend rather than a one-time issue. Commercial building permits, just the number of permits grew, and the residential permit valuation and permits actually grew significantly at 9% and 6% respectively. So a lot of construction growth expected for the area. And then our housing index. Single-family housing index, we look at non-farm employment, as this is the people who are creating the demand for housing. We look at single-family homes sold, median price of homes, and the housing opportunity index. Homes are selling, prices are going up, as everybody's hearing. Some concern is our housing opportunity index. Prices are growing steadily and strongly, and we're getting to the point where homes are becoming unaffordable. For example, our median price for single-family homes in Washoe County as of the second quarter of this year is $332,000. If we look at the median family income for Washoe County and use an affordability calculator, they can afford a $275,000 home. So we have an over $50,000 gap between what is affordable and what people in the area can afford. So that's creating an issue. Incomes, Fernley, Dayton, their prices are still significantly lower than Washoe County's, and with the opening of USA Parkway, the road will connect Dayton to Trick, so a lot of the employees may choose to go outside of Washoe County for their residence. So overall good news, a little bit of some growing pains ahead with employment growth, with the high price of housing, but we are growing, which is great news.
But the housing problem is also a national one. Thank you, Gina. Again, you can go to her website, EKAY Economic Consultants, and download a full copy of this of her coincidence and leading economic indicators. As you said, the Washoe County has really maintained itself and grown out of the depths of the Great Recession and continues to grow. So, at least for the current or for future, it looks like our growth for our economy is still very strong. So thank you, Eugenia, and we'll be doing these about every quarter, and hopefully we'll have some other information for you that you'll find is interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.